The invisible switch in your brain. Imagine that within the intricate workings of your brain, there exists a tiny yet incredibly powerful switch. When this internal switch is activated, it unleashes a torrent of sensations, making you feel boundless enthusiasm, an incredible surge of energy, and an unstoppable urge to take action. This isn't some form of magic, nor is it a simple feeling, it's a profound biochemical process. That remarkable switch is known as dopamine. Far from being a mystical force, it is a crucial neurotransmitter, a sophisticated chemical substance that your neurons utilize to communicate with each other. More importantly, dopamine serves as a vital catalyst, pushing and propelling you relentlessly toward the things that truly motivate you and give your life purpose. It is the fundamental component of your brain's reward system, orchestrating your pursuit of happiness and fulfillment in a beautiful, intricate dance of neurochemistry. Dopamine acts as the very engine that drives you to leap out of bed each morning, brimming with excitement for an upcoming project or a new day's potential. It is the source of that unmistakable sparkle in your eyes when you feel you're on the cusp of achieving something significant. And it's the force that transforms your most cherished goals into something utterly irresistible. This isn't merely about feeling pleasure. It's the dynamic fuel that converts a fleeting dream into concrete, meaningful action. Without this essential neurotransmitter, the activities and pursuits that once filled you with passion and excitement can feel distant, heavy, and even completely empty. The most fascinating aspect of this entire process is that your brain doesn't wait for you to achieve a reward before releasing dopamine. It releases it in anticipation when it foresees something that truly excites it. That is the very spark that ignites within you when you envision a future trip, contemplate learning a new skill, or set an ambitious personal challenge for yourself. Here lies one of the most profound secrets of all. You don't need to depend on social media, ultra-processed junk food, or other artificial stimuli to ignite that vital spark. Your own body possesses the incredible capacity to generate this life-giving chemical naturally, in an abundant and sustainable way. This is precisely what we are about to explore together as we uncover the true power and potential that lies dormant within your own mind. This is where we begin to reveal the invisible trap that many of us fall into without even realizing it's there. Natural dopamine can be likened to a well-tended campfire. Glowing with a steady and reliable heat, it kindles slowly, is fueled by quality wood, and provides a constant, enduring warmth. This type of dopamine is released when you engage in regular exercise, nourish your body with wholesome foods, practice meditation, acquire new knowledge, or share genuine, meaningful moments with the people you hold dear. It is a stable, reliable source of energy that truly empowers you to keep growing and evolving into your best self. In stark contrast, artificial dopamine is like a matchstick that flares up intensely for a few seconds before burning out completely. Constant scrolling through social media, indulging in ultra-processed food, or engaging in excessive video gaming produce rapid and intense dopamine peaks, but they inevitably leave behind a deep and unsettling emptiness. Your brain, having grown accustomed to these spectacular yet fleeting fireworks, begins to crave ever-increasing amounts of stimulation just to feel the same level of fleeting pleasure. This creates a destructive cycle of dependency. This leads to a crucial question. Are you truly choosing the things that motivate you, or has your brain been reprogrammed to relentlessly seek out only quick artificial dopamine hits that leave you feeling more exhausted than you were before? When you intentionally restore this essential balance, you will once again find profound joy in the simple beauty of a sunrise, the feeling of accomplishment after overcoming a challenge, or the deep satisfaction of a heartfelt conversation. That is the type of dopamine that genuinely nourishes and enriches your entire life. Consider this common scenario. You pick up your phone intending to open a favorite app for just 5 minutes, and before you know it, an hour has vanished as you endlessly swipe through a sea of videos and photos you won't even remember later. Your brain has received hundreds of miniature dopamine bursts in a matter of seconds, but what remains afterward? Nothing but a strange mental fatigue and the hollow sensation of having wasted your precious time. The experience, though it promised momentary pleasure, ultimately drains your resources. Or perhaps after a long and difficult day, you decide to reward yourself with a quick meal of a burger, fries, and a sugary drink. The very first bite is an explosion of pleasure, a massive dopamine peak that your brain celebrates as if it were a priceless treasure. However, mere minutes later, you are left with a heavy, sluggish feeling, bodily inflammation, and a sharp energy crash that completely robs you of any desire to do anything productive. This is how artificial dopamine peaks function. They are much like fireworks on a dark night. They shine brilliantly for an instant, then everything returns to darkness and emptiness. Even worse, the brain soon begins to require more and more stimulation just to feel the same level of gratification. What once seemed like a harmless, small pleasure transforms into a draining habit that extinguishes your motivation and snuffs out your inner spark. If we allow these artificial peaks to dominate our daily existence, we pay a steep price: diminished energy, stifled creativity, and a life filled with empty moments disguised as fleeting pleasure. The good news is that you possess the ability to retrain your brain to rediscover the magic in life's simple, authentic joys. This is where the power of natural dopamine truly comes into play. Many people unfairly punish themselves, believing they are lazy or lack willpower. The truth is that in the vast majority of cases, it is not laziness at all. It's a matter of brain chemistry. When your dopamine system becomes imbalanced due to an overwhelming influx of artificial stimuli, the things that once excited you no longer generate that natural, powerful impulse to act. It's as if the engine of your motivation has become flooded, sputtering and failing to respond. It's not that you don't want to move forward, it's that your brain has been so overloaded that it no longer responds to normal, natural rewards. You have become so accustomed to the intense fireworks of social media, ultra-processed food, or binge-watching sessions that now a peaceful walk, a captivating book, or even working on a personal project seem lackluster and unappealing. The truly empowering realization is that you are not broken. You simply need to reset your system. Your dopamine can return to a balanced state, and that essential spark can be rekindled, allowing you to wake up energized, embrace new challenges with enthusiasm, and genuinely enjoy the process of building the life you want. When you grasp this fundamental concept, you can stop blaming yourself and instead focus your energy on a path toward healing and restoration, not self-punishment. Dopamine does not appear out of thin air. Your body requires specific raw materials to produce it. One of the most crucial ingredients is tyrosine, an amino acid that you acquire directly from the food you consume. Without sufficient tyrosine, it would be like trying to start a fire without any kind of firewood. You can find this essential nutrient in simple and widely available foods such as bananas, avocados, almonds, sesame seeds, legumes, and certain types of fish. Consistently incorporating these foods into your daily diet not only nourishes your physical body, but also directly fuels your motivation and enhances your mental clarity. A practical tip is to start your day with a smoothie made from banana, oats, and almonds, or to add avocado and seeds to your daily salads. These seemingly minor dietary changes, when consistently maintained over time, create a stable chemical foundation that enables you to feel more energized and focused. Remember, every mindful food choice you make is a vote in favor of your overall well-being. Your diet can be the very first step toward reigniting the spark that propels you to live your life with genuine enthusiasm and passion. Refined sugar is an impostor that deceives your brain into a state of temporary euphoria. The moment you consume it, It triggers a rapid and intense peak of dopamine and energy. However, that powerful boost is incredibly short-lived, followed by an inevitable crash that leaves you feeling fatigued, irritable, and with seemingly endless cravings. This vicious cycle not only exhausts your body, but also fundamentally wears down your motivation system. When you consciously reduce your intake of refined sugars and replace them with natural sources like whole fruits, pure honey, or dates, you provide your brain with a more balanced and sustained release of dopamine. This translates into stable energy levels, improved concentration, and a reduced dependency on quick fixes to feel good. A practical tip for this is to swap industrial desserts for fresh fruit with nuts, and to avoid sugary drinks by opting for herbal teas or water with lemon slices instead. While it may seem difficult at first, within just a few days you will notice that your energy levels become more consistent and your mood becomes more positive. Always remember that true energy and vitality don't come from a momentary high, but from a properly nourished body and a brain that is in a state of balance. Physical exercise is one of the most powerful natural stimulants that exists, and the best part is that it comes with no negative side effects. When you get your body moving, it releases not only dopamine but also endorphins and serotonin, creating a powerful chemical symphony that elevates your mood, significantly reduces stress, and boosts your motivation in a sustainable and lasting way. You don't need to engage in extreme workouts to reap these incredible benefits. A brisk 30-minute walk, dancing to your favorite music, practicing yoga, or even a light strength training routine are more than enough to activate this powerful cocktail of well-being. The true secret lies in consistency. The more you make movement a regular part of your life, the more you train your brain to associate physical activity with pleasure and a sense of lasting energy. A practical tip is to choose an activity that you genuinely enjoy and schedule it into your calendar as an important appointment with yourself. Even just 10 minutes a day can make a profound difference if you do it every single day. Remember that every step you take is a powerful message to your body and mind that says, I am alive, I am strong, and I am moving toward a better version of myself. Meditation and mindfulness are like a silent gym for your brain. In a world where we are constantly conditioned to receive a new stimulus every single second, training your mind to remain focused on the present moment is like pressing a reset button on your entire dopaminergic system. When you meditate, your brain learns to generate dopamine without the immediate need for an external reward. This strengthens the neural connections related to internal motivation and a deep sense of profound satisfaction. Scientific studies have shown that the regular practice of mindfulness increases the density of gray matter in brain areas associated with emotional control, memory, and decision-making. This means that you not only feel calmer, but also become more focused and resilient. Furthermore, by reducing stress and anxiety, meditation allows your nervous system to regain its balance, preventing the stress hormone cortisol from interfering with the natural production of dopamine. Slowly but surely, you begin to find joy in simple things like the taste of a cup of tea, the chirping of a bird, or the peaceful silence of the morning, without the constant need to resort to intense external stimuli. A practical tip is to start with just 5 minutes a day, sitting in a quiet place and focusing on the rhythm of your breath. Each time your mind wanders, gently and kindly guide it back to the present moment. Over time, you will notice that your mind calms down much faster and that your motivation no longer depends so much on instant gratification. Remember, when you learn to enjoy the present hour, your brain becomes your most powerful ally, and dopamine stops being an ephemeral burst and transforms into a constant, stable flow of well-being. Deep breathing is one of the simplest and most powerful tools available to balance your brain chemistry. When you breathe consciously and slowly, you activate the vagus nerve, which calms your nervous system, reduces cortisol, and creates the ideal conditions for your brain to naturally and sustainably release dopamine. Think of your breath as a powerful switch that you can flip at any time to transition from a state of stress and anxiety to one of profound calm and clarity. The best part is that you don't need anything other than your own body. A simple yet effective example is the 4-7-8 technique. Inhale deeply through your nose while mentally counting to 4. Hold the air in your lungs while you count to 7, and then slowly exhale through your mouth while you count to 8. Repeat this cycle several times in a row, and in less than 2 minutes, you will notice your heart rate slowing down, your shoulders relaxing, and your mind becoming clearer. Remember that every deep breath you take is a direct message to your body that says, you are safe, and when your body feels safe, the flow of dopamine and other feel-good hormones is naturally restored. Music holds a unique power to awaken deep emotions and ignite the brain's reward system. When you listen to a song you absolutely love, it triggers a chemical cascade that includes the release of dopamine, especially during the most intense or moving parts of the melody. This is why a single note can give you goosebumps or completely change your mood. This effect isn't just about fleeting pleasure. Music can also boost your motivation, help you concentrate, reduce stress, and connect you with inspiring memories. It has even been shown that listening to music before tackling a difficult task can increase your persistence and creativity because your brain associates that experience with a sense of well-being. So here's a question for you. Are you using music merely as background noise, or are you using it as a conscious tool to change your state of mind and supercharge your motivation? A practical tip is to create a playlist with songs that make you feel energized and joyful, and use it at key moments, such as before you start working on an important project or at the beginning of your day. By doing this, you are conditioning your brain to link action with positive sensations, turning music into a natural boost for your motivation. Remember, every song that moves you is more than just a sound. It's a powerful tool to nourish your happiness from within. Everything we have discussed about dopamine and the habits that naturally boost it fits perfectly with the philosophy of Louise Hay. She taught that our body and mind are in a constant dialogue, and that when we choose thoughts, words, and actions that truly nourish us, we are sending a powerful message of love and self-approval. Louise would say that every healthy habit, eating mindfully, moving with joy, breathing deeply, meditating, listening to uplifting music, is an affirmation in action. It's not just about going through the motions, it's about reminding yourself, I deserve to feel good, I deserve to take care of myself, my life is worth it, and I have the power to create it. She would also insist that true motivation doesn't come from punishing or forcing yourself, but from loving yourself enough to give yourself the very best. When you stop chasing artificial highs and start nourishing your dopamine naturally, you are breaking free from old patterns of self-depletion and building a more loving relationship with yourself. In her language, these habits would be a way of telling your body and mind, I am at peace with my life. I trust my process. I choose energies and thoughts that uplift me every single day. Getting enough quality sleep is not a luxury. It is a fundamental biological necessity for your brain to function at its full potential. During deep sleep, your nervous system performs a crucial chemical cleaning process that balances your neurotransmitters, including dopamine. If you don't get sufficient rest, not only will your physical energy decrease, but your ability to feel motivated, make clear decisions, and be creative will also suffer. The lack of sleep creates a vicious cycle. You feel tired, so you seek out artificial stimuli to stay awake. Your dopamine spikes in an unstable way, and at the end of the day you are even more exhausted. Over time, this pattern drains your ability to enjoy life and leaves you in a state of constant apathy. A practical tip is to establish a nightly routine that tells your body it's time to disconnect. Turn off screens an hour before bed, dim the lights, and engage in calming activities like deep breathing or reading something relaxing. When your rest becomes a sacred habit, Your brain rewards you with more energy, greater clarity, and a stable dopamine supply that sustains your motivation. Remember, getting good sleep is not a waste of time. It's an investment in the most creative, happy, and productive version of yourself. Dopamine tolerance is like a volume knob that is turned up too high, and suddenly you can no longer hear the beautiful music of life with clarity. The more you stimulate your brain with artificial rewards, endless social media scrolling, ultra-processed food, or constant short videos, the more your nervous system requires increasingly larger doses to feel the same level of pleasure. This means that simple and nourishing activities like reading, taking a walk, or having a genuine conversation stop generating enthusiasm. Your brain has become accustomed to fireworks and no longer reacts to the soft, gentle light of a candle. What once filled you with joy now seems boring, and the motivation to pursue long-term goals collapses. A digital and fast stimulus detox is the most effective antidote. By temporarily reducing or eliminating these intense bursts, you allow your dopaminergic system to reset. Little by little, you will begin to find pleasure in simple things again, and the spark you thought you had lost will return, but this time, it will be rooted in a stable and lasting foundation. Remember, it's not about living without pleasure, but about reconnecting with true pleasure, the kind that comes from real, authentic experiences and not from momentary bursts that leave you feeling hollow. A powerful challenge to reset your dopamine is to spend 24 hours without screens. But if that seems too daunting, start with a more manageable goal, a couple of hours a day. This is enough time for your brain to begin to slow down and seek out more natural stimuli without the constant avalanche of information. 2 hours without a screen doesn't seem like much, but you will be surprised by what happens. In that short amount of time, you will realize how dependent you have become on always having a screen in front of you. You will feel that discomfort of not knowing what to do, that automatic impulse to reach for your phone as if it were an extension of your hand. And that is where true awareness begins. During those hours, replace the scrolling and notifications with activities that also stimulate dopamine, but in a balanced and sustainable way. Art is a perfect example. Drawing, painting, or writing awakens creativity and provides a deep sense of satisfaction. Spending time in nature, feeling the sun on your skin, listening to the wind or the birds singing, connects your mind with sensations that have been ingrained in you forever. And few things release as much dopamine as a real, face-to-face, meaningful conversation with someone who genuinely listens and inspires you. Being tougher on yourself with this challenge is not about punishing yourself. It's about liberating yourself. If you can tolerate that initial discomfort and resist the temptation, you will rediscover what it means to be truly present. And when you achieve that, you understand that the screen does not control your life. You control when and how you use it. Gratitude is one of the simplest and most powerful tools to naturally boost your dopamine. When you stop to acknowledge 3 good things that have happened to you during the day, your brain activates neural circuits associated with reward and well-being. Over time, this exercise trains your mind to focus on the positive, even in the midst of challenges. It's not about writing down major accomplishments, but about noticing the everyday things. A coffee you enjoyed, a conversation that made you smile, the moment you felt the sun on your face. Every time you consciously register these moments, you reinforce the neural connections that sustain a more stable and optimistic mood. A practical tip is to dedicate a few minutes each night to writing down your 3 good things in a journal. Do it with detail, reliving the emotion of that moment. The more you practice, the more you will notice that gratitude not only changes your perception of the day, but also increases your motivation and energy for the next. Remember, gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion. It is a mental training that reprograms your brain to find reasons for joy every single day. When was the last time you did something just for the sheer pleasure of it, without expecting a perfect result or anyone's approval. Reconnecting with forgotten hobbies is a powerful way to reactivate dopamine because these activities awaken creativity, curiosity, and genuine enjoyment. Painting, cooking, playing an instrument, or returning to any pastime you left behind stimulates your brain in a similar way to when you learn something new. They form fresh neural connections and release neurotransmitters that elevate your mood and motivation. Furthermore, by immersing yourself in a manual or creative activity, you enter a state of flow where time seems to disappear, and the only thing that exists is the present moment. A practical tip is to choose a hobby you once loved and set aside at least half an hour a week to practice it. Don't seek perfection, seek presence. With each session, you will be training your brain to find pleasure in the authentic and to cultivate a stable dopamine that does not depend on artificial stimuli. Remember, returning to what makes you happy is a powerful way of reminding your mind and your heart who you are at your core. Motivation doesn't always arrive in massive waves. Often it is born from small victories that we accumulate day after day. When you adopt the mindset of celebrating these minimal advances, finishing a pending task, drinking enough water, going for a walk, you train your brain to release dopamine consistently and in a balanced way. This way, instead of depending on sporadic, major achievements, you maintain a stable flow of energy and enthusiasm. It is crucial to understand that dopamine is not just the pleasure chemical, it is also the internal engine that drives you to move toward your goals. It is activated not only when you reach an objective, but also when you anticipate that you are going to achieve it. That's why breaking a large goal into smaller, manageable steps is not a minor strategy. It's the very way your nervous system stays motivated throughout the entire process. A practical tip is to write down your 3 small victories every day, no matter how insignificant they may seem. This simple habit not only trains your mind to focus on progress, but also feeds a positive cycle of action and motivation. Remember, big changes don't happen all at once. They are built with the accumulation of small actions that, when repeated with consistency, reprogram your brain to believe in yourself and in what you are truly capable of achieving. Setting achievable goals is like building a solid bridge between where you are and where you want to be. When your goals are clear, realistic, and measurable, your brain can visualize a possible path and activate the anticipatory dopamine, that energy you feel when you know you are heading in the right direction. If your goals are too big or too vague, your mind will feel overwhelmed and motivation will extinguish before you even begin. An effective strategy is to divide the main goal into small, attainable steps, celebrating each one as a significant achievement. Each time you mark a step forward, your brain releases a healthy dose of dopamine, reinforcing the sense of progress and keeping the momentum alive. Here's where creative visualization comes in. It's not just about imagining the final result, but also about visualizing yourself, enjoying the process, seeing yourself training, learning, and overcoming obstacles. This practice activates the same brain areas as when you are experiencing the real thing, which boosts motivation and mentally prepares you to act. A practical tip is to spend a few minutes each day closing your eyes and feeling what it will be like to have achieved your goal. Imagine the details, the surroundings, the emotions, even the conversations you would have. The more vivid the image, the clearer it will be for your brain that it is worth moving toward it. Remember, dopamine doesn't just celebrate the goal, it also celebrates the journey. When you learn to enjoy every single step, motivation becomes a constant state, not just a fleeting impulse. Dopamine is strengthened when you combine action with positive thinking. Affirmations are a direct way to train your brain to associate your goals with feelings of well-being and motivation. By repeating them, you reinforce the neural connections that sustain a mental state focused on progress. Here are 5 powerful affirmations to nourish your dopamine naturally. I enjoy the process and celebrate every step I take. Every day I make small strides that bring me closer to my goals. My motivation grows because I take care of my body, my mind, and my energy. I find pleasure and satisfaction in what I do today. My brain is trained to focus on the positive and move forward with enthusiasm. To further enhance this effect, create a vision board where you represent your goals with images, words, and colors that inspire you. Place it in a visible spot so that every day when you see it, you activate that anticipatory dopamine that propels you to keep going. It's not just decoration, it's a constant reminder that you are on the right path and that every step counts. Remember that your mind responds to what you repeat and what you see. So fill it with messages that feed your energy and your motivation, and your dopamine will work in your favor. Recognizing your progress is one of the most effective ways to keep motivation alive. Keeping a journal of your achievements, no matter how small they may seem, trains your brain to focus on the progress you are making and not just on what is left to do. Every time you record a positive step, your reward system is activated, releasing dopamine and reinforcing the habit of moving forward. The key is to never underestimate small victories. Writing down that you woke up earlier today, that you completed your workout, or that you dedicated time to learning something new reminds your mind that you are in motion and that the effort has value. And here it is important to remember that natural dopamine is sustainable. It's not a fleeting burst that leaves you empty afterward, but a constant fuel that drives you to build a full, balanced, and meaningful life. When you choose habits that generate it naturally, your energy doesn't deplete, it renews itself day after day. Remember that every achievement, no matter how small, is a spark that feeds that internal engine. And when you learn to celebrate all of them, your motivation stops being a roller coaster and turns into a stable flow that accompanies you on every step of your journey. Dopamine is a key neurotransmitter in the brain, widely known as the chemical of motivation and reward. It is not only released when we achieve a goal, but also when we anticipate that we are going to achieve it, pushing us to act. A balanced dopaminergic system helps us maintain energy, focus, and enjoyment in our daily lives. The problem arises when we become dependent on artificial peaks, such as those generated by social media, ultra-processed food, or the excessive consumption of rapid stimuli. These intense bursts cause tolerance, making simple activities no longer exciting to us. The good news is that we can boost dopamine naturally with habits such as a diet rich in tyrosine, exercise, meditation, conscious breathing, good music, restorative sleep, gratitude, and genuine connection with others. This way, instead of living in a state of ups and downs, we cultivate a stable and lasting motivation that drives us to build a full and meaningful life. Now, how do you feel after everything we have talked about regarding dopamine and how to boost it naturally? Do you believe this information will help you feel more energized, motivated, and joyful in your daily life? I would love for you to write in the comments how you feel right now and how you plan to start seeing life from this moment forward. Thank you for being here. This channel is a judgment-free space, a place where many of us are on a journey to improve and grow together. We are a solid community that supports, shares, and celebrates the small and large advances of each person, and where we understand that taking care of our dopamine is taking care of our quality of life. If this content has brought you value, I invite you to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might be interested or who could benefit from it. Together we can take this message further and help more people transform their lives and their energy. Always remember the words of Louise Hay, "I am at peace with the process of life, and I trust that everything I need will come to me in the perfect moment." I send you a big hug, and I'll see you in the next one.